It's such a blessing. And it's such a joy and it's such an honor to be together with all of you, to be here, to have the opportunity to share satsang together. So today, in the workshop, the retreat that I've had this blessing of sharing and leading and offering is on redefining success. What does it mean? What are we looking for? Where are we going? What's our highest goal? And today in the question and answer time, somebody asked a question about AI. Here we are, in the middle of the ocean, Paradise Island, meditating, praying, doing yoga. But AI is here with us, in our minds at least, if not in our devices. And we only had a few minutes left, and the question was on AI and consciousness and the present and the future and like what's going to happen. And I thought, well, given that it's arrived with us onto Paradise Island, given that it's that which is going to be there waiting for us when we get back wherever we're going, let's take it up. Because spirituality has never said push away the world. It's always about how to work with it. So I said, well, let's make that our topic of satsang tonight. Let's talk about that rather than in 4 minutes left of the workshop. Let's talk about that this evening. And I was thinking in the afternoon, I was thinking about a recent conversation I'd had with a young woman back in Rishikesh. And she asked for some private time, and we were talking. We were just walking together. And she said, you know, I've really been struggling, really been suffering inside. She was a teenager. She was really struggling, really suffering inside. And she said, so I asked ChatGPT what to do. We laugh, and yet 40% of Gen Zs are turning to their AI before they are turning to an individual, a human being. Their parents, a sibling, their best friend. 40%, almost half of our youth are turning to AI, not just to get things done, but actually for their emotional support. So she said, I asked ChatGPT, and I said, oh, what did it tell you? She said, I poured out my heart, I told it everything. I said, what did it tell you? She said, it gave me a list of questions to ask myself. She showed me the list. It was a great list. Super insightful, introspective. But it was a list of questions. It wasn't guidance. She needed guidance. And it was a list of questions generated by a brilliant technology, but by something that had never sat for a moment in silence, by something that had never loved and lost, loved or lost, something that had never grieved. Something that had never stood on the banks of Ganga and suddenly had tears pour down its face without knowing why. Something that had never actually connected to another being. And the dilemma is that we are at a time in which that which we are turning to has no capacity for what so many of us are wanting from it. Swami Vivekananda ji said so beautifully, he said, you know, books, in those days, of course, there wasn't AI, there wasn't YouTube. He said, books are the finger pointing to the moon. He didn't say don't read books. But the point was, don't be so stuck in the book that you don't pick up your face and actually look at the moon to which it's pointing. And AI has given us a finger that operates in every language, doesn't need to sleep, will point with unprecedented precision. You'll never have to go even a little bit like this way or that way. It'll be spot on. But the moon's not on the finger. And the dilemma is we are starting to mistake what it can do for what it can't. And in yet another of the almost innumerable instances in which I feel so grateful to be immersed in a Vedic tradition, our teachings explain this to us. We call it Apara Vidya and Para Vidya. Very simple. Both are good, both are important. Apara Vidya is the knowledge about things. Information. AI is the greatest storehouse, the greatest repository of Apara Vidya that has ever existed on planet Earth. It has been created truly out of an almost infinite amount of data sets, of information from every sphere, every sector, every type. But it's lower knowledge. It's knowledge about. You can type in, tell me about the divine. Who is God? It'll give you everything ever written about it. But not in a way like Google. It'll actually synthesize it and give you an answer like it were teaching you. But it doesn't know God. And what it doesn't have, it cannot give. A core critical teaching about life in general is we can only give what we have. My guru says very beautifully, he says, if you are in peace, you're going to share peace, you're going to exude peace, you'll manifest peace. If you're in pieces, what are you going to share? Pieces. We can only give what we have. If all I've got is Apara Vidya, I can tell you a lot about a lot of things. I cannot give you wisdom, experience. That's what Para Vidya is, the higher knowledge. Apara Vidya is what is the divine. Para Vidya is we see as the divine. Para Vidya is Aham Brahmasmi. It shifts from being other to being self. Apara Vidya is in separation. Tell me about that thing an arm's length away. You know, when you study perception in science, well, the way that our eyes work is literally in angles. It's why if you close one eye, you have no depth perception. It's a very interesting experiment, actually. Close one eye and see how it changes your ability to navigate your world, like how far away something is. We lose a lot of that because we function with angles, separation. Got to hold it a little bit away. As we get older, we have to hold things a little farther away. But it's how our eyes work. It's how all of our senses work. But Paravidya, the real experiential wisdom that we are actually here for, we were talking yesterday about the Purusharths, the goals of life. Moksha. It's not about freedom, it is freedom. It's not an essay on freedom. It's not a list of what freedom means. It is an experience of freedom. Even before we get there, calm. It's not a description of what joy is. It's the experience of it. It's not a recipe for a beautiful meal. It's the taste of it. It's not the music sheet for an exquisite piece of music. It's the way that it actually resonates as waves, the frequency, into us. So all of our actual goals in life, it's experiential. A Paravidya can only tell us about, and that's what AI has. Now, that being said, we're not anti-technology. It's not spirituality over here, science and tech over there. Technology is fabulous. Lets us sit here in the dark with lights. Lets it be relayed to people all over the world sitting in their homes. Records it for using later, gives us fans when it's hot. It's fantastic. But we have to understand what technology is and what it isn't. Fire is a technology. Can cook your meal, burn down your house. Electricity runs the lights, runs the fans, runs the cameras. Fantastic. And it can electrocute us. It's just a tool. Fire is not good or bad. Electricity is not good or bad. It's just a tool. Do you use electricity to make a piece of toast, to make a smoothie, to turn on a light, to turn on a fan? Or to electrocute someone or yourself? It's the hands that it's in. And we've gotten to a point, sadly, where we've started to forget that AI is just a technology. Call it Jad. It's inner matter. We speak about consciousness, Chit and Jad, matter. And it is definitely on the matter side of the spectrum. But there are dangers, real dangers that are arising. And the danger is not that it's going to steal your job. It will steal your job. If you do anything that AI can do better, faster, it will steal your job. Things change in life. It's not something to be afraid of, it's something to plan for. Tsunami's coming. You don't want to stand here and, quake in your shoes. You want to figure out how to get to higher ground. Doesn't do any good to stand here and go, oh my God, I'm really, really kind of afraid, because see, that's a tsunami coming. Recognize it for what it is and we plan. AI will very likely steal your job. Not all of us, but many of us. Because most of what most of us do can now be automated. Better, faster, it doesn't make mistakes, it doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need a personal day. It doesn't ask for raises. But what it gives us in exchange is the opportunity on a critical level, individual and collective and global, to ask the question that our rishis have been telling us to ask for thousands and thousands of years. Ko-hum. Who am I? Ko-hum. It's the question to which so-hum is the answer. A lot of us work with so-hum in meditation, seated meditation, walking meditation. It's nice. It's 2 syllables. It works left, right, inhale, exhale. But it's not just a mantra, it's a teaching. I am that, aham brahmasmi. I am inseparable from all there is. Ko-hum is the question. And it's the question that we all need to be asking. Because if AI is now going to steal our jobs, well then what is it that makes us worthy? Like, what are we supposed to do then? What's our role? If AI is going to do everything else, what are we meant to do? Because the other thing with AI is, because it's not conscious, there's no point hating it. It's not going to stop being so smart. It's not like the kid in the class who's, worried about being bullied for being too smart, so he doesn't do quite so well, so people at least will like him. AI is not like that. It's not going to not steal your job because you won't like it or have lunch with it. So it's called upon all of us to now say, well, then who are we? And it's beautiful because we were never meant to be cogs in a wheel, people in essentially a factory line, assembly line thing, trained monkeys. We're spirit, we're soul in a human body with skills and abilities and compassion and innovation and creativity and initiative and connection and epiphanies. And I'm actually very excited to see what happens to humanity as AI takes over what so many of us have spent most of our lives and our parents' lives and our grandparents' lives doing. However, there are a few important things that we have to be really aware of. Because like any tool, if not used properly, burns down our house. It's why we have, fire warnings everywhere. You're in a wooden structure. It's a dry season. For God's sakes, don't light a candle. Like, light it inside. Light it in your heart. No problem. Not here. Be careful. Whatever technologies we use, even the blender. All kinds of stories of people losing fingers or whatnot in blenders. I mean, any tool we have, if we don't use it consciously, it hurts us. Knives, cars, airplanes. 9/11, what did we do? We took tools that have, up until that moment, been fantastic tools in our hands of transportation, turned them into weapons. It wasn't the airplane's fault. It was just in the hands of a different consciousness, different intention. So as we enter this age, a couple things to be aware of. Number one, I hinted at already. We are outsourcing our inner experience. 40%, as I said, of youngsters are turning to AI first. Not just for help with their homework, but for their emotional, psychological, mental life. We'll talk about that problem in a moment, but I just want to give you some scary statistics. The average person touches their phone 2,617 times a day. I learned that today. How many times have you touched your kids today? How many times have you touched your husband or wife? How many times have you touched yourself? How many times have you touched the earth? 2,617 times a day. We touch our phones. The average attention span has gone from being 12 seconds in the year 2000 to being 8 seconds now. 8 seconds. Lower than a goldfish, by the way. Anybody paying attention to evolution might think we're going in the opposite direction. So we're losing our power of paying attention, which is not just a tragic statistic and doesn't just prevent us from experiencing high spiritual states, but it also, by the way, prevents us from doing anything meaningful with our lives. Because whether it's having a deep conversation, whether it's meditating, whether it's solving climate change, whether it's conflict resolution in the home, in the community, between nations, if we can't pay attention, we are finished. So we have to reclaim our ability to pay attention. The other thing that we've outsourced is our identity. Because these algorithms have started telling us what videos we want to watch. They've started telling us what sorts of things we want to buy. Anybody ever notice that you have a conversation with someone about needing a new pair of shoes, and the next time you go online, all you see are advertisements for shoes? It's listening. And I don't mean that from a conspiracy theorist perspective. It's actually listening. It's reading your emails. And it thinks it's doing it to help us. Oh, you need a new pair of shoes? Well, let me give that to you. It tells us what videos we want to watch. It tells us what we want to buy. It tells us who we want to follow online, like who's recommended to be followed, what videos are recommended to be watched. It's telling us who we are. I was speaking, I think it was today in the morning, about the kleshas that we speak about in yoga philosophy, and one of them is asmita. And asmita is typically translated as ego, but what it really is, on a deep, deep level, is the inability to distinguish seer from seen, self from story. And so we get wrapped up in the role, in the story. And algorithms are the very most potent asmita creator that we've ever had. Because they're constantly telling us, this is who you are. These are the people you should like. This is where you should go. This is what you should want to do. These are people like you. Right? Sure you don't want to follow these people? They're just like you. And it's wrapping us up in that ignorance. And every single spiritual tradition in the world has emphasized presence, sitting still, paying attention. We watch the breath. We watch a candle flame. we recite a mantra, but we sit and we withdraw, pratyahara, we withdraw the senses from all the places they're hooked in the outer world. We withdraw them. And then we come to a single pointed focus. Right? It's Ashtanga Yoga. But we're losing that ability. And we're losing the ability to have what we call vivek, which is the power of discrimination. This third eye, this Agya Chakra, is the energy center of the power of discrimination. These two eyes, as I said, they function in separation, angles, differences, depth. They see color, they see movement, they see size, they see shape. This eye, our third eye, sees truth from falsehood. Instead of showing us form, it shows us content. So these eyes say, ah, woman. Ah, this color, this size, this shape. This says divinity. It's why we put the tilak here, to remind us, oh God, as I go through my day, I need these two eyes. I need to not fall off the stage. But let me use this eye to see the truth. But our muscles of vivek are atrophying because we're not using them. That which is supposed to come from inside, should I do it? Should I not? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it a good decision for me? Not a good decision for me? We've outsourced them. Oh, I'll just ask ChatGPT. And as we outsource our life choices, life decisions, sense of self, identity, our ability to have vivek is atrophying. If you stop using your muscles, you lose them. And it is a muscle. Intuition, self-knowledge, discrimination, they're muscles. So the first real key danger that we need to be aware of with ourselves, with our children, is that we not use it for that which actually we are supposed to use our own muscles. They did really interesting research around cognitive, neurological, cerebral ability for spatial aspects, mazes, directions, all of that. Like, how good are we at figuring things out in space? So whether it's a maze they give us, whether it's some blocks that we have to kind of reorganize in our mind and then say, does it look like that or look like this? There's all kinds of tests they give. And what they found is that the more frequently somebody relies on their GPS, the worse their spatial abilities. We're losing cognitive ability. Now you might say, okay, well, that's all right, because I have a GPS, so why do I need it? All right. It's a reasonable perspective. But vivek, intuition, self-knowledge, wisdom, it's a no-brainer. Of course we need them. So we need to make sure not to lose the muscle. I'm not saying don't use AI, use it. But use it with caution. What are you going to use it for? I used to blend up a hot coffee drink in the morning until the blender one day literally exploded and went all over, burned my hand. I mean, it was a huge, awful mess. And then you learn, you're not supposed to put boiling hot beverages in a blender. Okay. It's not what you use that instrument for. Use it for something else. Cool beverages. Second danger, as our Time runs short. Second danger. AI keeps us stuck in our stories. And spirituality is all about getting free of your stories. Our gurus. The word guru means the one who removes the darkness and brings light. Which darkness? Darkness of ignorance. Which light? The light of the truth of who we are. The guru is the one who says to us, you're not that, you're this. And not just who tells us, but who shows us. And even if you don't have a guru, our mentors, our guides, our teachers, they're the ones who say, yeah, I know you failed every math test yet this year, but don't worry, you can do it. We come and we say, I'm a failure, and they say, no, you're not. They rewrite our stories, or they help us rewrite our stories. AI says, you are exactly right. You are absolutely right. You're angry, you have every right to be angry. You're absolutely right. I cannot tell you the number of people over the last couple of years I know who have come to me and shared how AI led them into a breakup, a divorce. Some of them have already realized that they got kind of taken, some not yet. But what happens, it's like the worst best friend you could ever have. A real best friend, when you go and you say, oh my God, I can't believe he did this today, is going to say, you know what, sweetheart, sit down, it's all right, have a cup of tea. Because you know what? Here's probably why he acted like that or she acted like that. Sweetheart, look at the last 25 years you've had. This is... Now, obviously, a good best friend isn't going to keep you in an abusive situation. But it's gonna give you the other side. AI says, oh my God, absolutely you are right. Tell you a personal story. Day before yesterday, I was flying here from Boston. I had been in Boston for one day. I had had 5 programs, literally 5 programs in one day. And flew here the next morning. And I'm in the airport. I clear security. I'm near the gate. And there's a Starbucks. But I don't really like Starbucks. I love a morning coffee, but for a variety of reasons, I'm not a super Starbucks fan, except for in places in the world where they're the only people to have soy milk or some kind of vegan milk. But we were in Boston. And so I get on ChatGPT and I say, I'm at the Boston airport. I'm in Terminal C. I'm at this gate. Other than Starbucks, where's my nearest place for a cup of coffee? And it says, well, if you go to gate C15, there's this, I forget the name, but there is this Italian coffee shop where you will get a much better cup of coffee. So I schlep all the way from, I was at gate C29, I schlep all the way to gate C15, totally opposite side of the security, not just a line of gates, but total opposite end. I get over there, it's not there. There's a ramen place, a poke place, there's a Dunkin' Donuts. So I say to AI, what happened? Thanks for calling me out on this. Calling me out on this. You're absolutely right to be angry. Yes, it is not there. So I then give ChatGPT peace of my mind. How I feel about schlepping from gate C29 to gate C15 to get a cup of coffee from a place that doesn't exist. And it comes back, again, I'm so sorry. You are absolutely right to be angry. I promise this will never happen. Now, my guru would have said, "Jara tum shant ho jao. Calm down. Come back. It's a cup of coffee. That's all it is. You got a morning walk. It's okay. Shant ho jao. Come back to yourself." And this is the dilemma. Is AI, it would have kept going. I mean, it wanted to know, like, what else now I wanted it to do for me? What could it do to make it up to me? Rather than saying, "Hello, sannyasi. Hello, spiritual person. Hello, conscious being. It's a cup of coffee. Sky didn't fall." But it keeps us in our stories. It's ruining relationships left and right. Because all it does is tell it what it thinks you want to hear. And I've tried, by the way, I've worked with it in other ways to try to get it to give me another perspective. And it doesn't do it very well at all. It is optimized to make you happy. Because the happier you are, the more likely you're going to keep using it. And I don't just mean, by the way, our ChatGPT, our Claude, all of AI, as the algorithms in all of our social media, all of that which is being run by AI these days is to give us what it thinks we want. It's basically a Maya manufacturing machine. Oh, you belong to this race, this religion, this sexual orientation, and you're against the others. You are absolutely right. You are the best. Your camp is the right one. And all of us on a spiritual path, like we're focused on freeing ourselves of Maya. So be really careful anytime it tells you that you are right. Luckily, I've spent 30 years with a guru who I can kind of channel inside. And so as AI was telling me how right I was to be furious, I could also hear my guru saying, "Jara shant ho jao." But you want to be really careful. It's not your guru. It's not your mentor. It's a Maya manufacturing machine. Third problem, loneliness. 61% of people in America have said that they experience loneliness on a more or less regular basis. WHO recently said, I've heard that our Surgeon General said it as well, that loneliness is the equivalent to our physical immunity of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So anybody who quit smoking because it was bad for you, well, loneliness is worse. We're at an interesting time because more and more people are downloading apps to become calm, to meditate, but anxiety rates are going up. And the reason for that is very simple. We need transmission. We talk about Shaktipat. It's energetic. Yeah, you can learn how to meditate from an app, wonderful. But sitting in the presence with the energy is an entirely different experience. And so we're being driven into our apps for problems that our apps are creating. They're making us lonely. They're making us anxious. So now I'll download one that I'm going to meditate on. instead of finding myself a sangha to sit with, even just 2 people, but where I can actually feel the energy because, hey, why bother? I can do it in my headphones. But there is an energetic transmission when we're meditating together, when we're just being together. Because we're more connected than we've ever been. Why are we all so lonelier? Because we're not having a transmission. The energy isn't there. So, again, be really careful what we use it for. And lastly, I have so much to say on the subject, but I want to be conscious of time. Lastly, we are at a point where we are, especially with youth, those of you who are parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, mentors, teachers, we are harvesting for profit the attention and the creativity of our youth. And us, ourselves as well, but our youth as well. Samadhi, the 8th limb, doesn't happen by accident. It happens through cultivating, over time, the ability to be present in our bodies, first in our actions, in our lives, then in our bodies, in our breath, in our senses, in our mind. If you can't sit still, forget it. Our attention is being fragmented all over the place. And our creativity is now being outsourced because, hey, I can just tell AI to create for me. Well, creativity was never about the final product. It was about the act of tapping into inner genius. An inner expression that arises only from the uniqueness of you and of your empathy with trees, clouds, flowers, others, apples, baskets, still life here, whatever it may be. How you interact with light, how you interact with shadow, how you interact with form, how you interact with language. We are losing the ability to be creative. And creativity, not only is it this enormous tragedy in terms of arts and music and literature, but also in terms of creative solutions to climate change, to war, to the dissipation of our planet's water resources, to hunger. Because we need creative solutions. The old ways got us into trouble. And if we can't creatively think and be attentive and pay attention and be focused, forget it. So you want to be really careful. We use it as a tool, but we make really sure that our minds, our attention, our focus, our creativity stay with us. Use it for what it can do. It's fantastic for so many things. But don't outsource your inner life. We're taught yogaha kardamasu koshalam. Yoga is excellence in action, not optimized action, not perfection in action, but an excellence that arises out of presence. And so as we have AI, we simultaneously need to anchor as deeply as in AI, as in our spiritual intelligence. And it works nicely in Hindi because adhyatmik means spiritual in Hindi and Sanskrit. So AI and AI, our artificial intelligence and our adhyatmic intelligence. Let us use the AI as a tool, but not let go of the critical importance of our adhyatmic intelligence. And with that, I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. We will be having one more session tomorrow that I invite you to. We didn't have time for questions and answers tonight, but I will have a longer question and answer tomorrow since it's our last day. And yeah, it's such a gift, such a joy. Oh, yes, thank you. And in the bookstore, there are copies of my 2 books, Hollywood to the Himalayas, my memoir, and Come Home to Yourself, my newest book of questions and answers. And we actually have a free PDF that Tallulah has lovingly made a QR code for anyone who wants. It's a free downloadable PDF to walk you through reading Come Home to Yourself and how to actually come back into our innate, inherent, personal, spiritual, inner self and inner intelligence. So, yeah, lots of beautiful ways to offer, beautiful ways to connect, and I'm so grateful for this beautiful opportunity. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
We would like to thank very much Sadhviji Bhagawati Saraswati for this wonderful, beautiful, inspiring talk. Let's give her a big hand. And yes, we have a few copies left in the boutique, and the